There are 5 million Ram 1500s on American roads right now, and every single one with a HEMI V8 engine has a specific internal problem that Chrysler has known about since 2009, documented in their own internal engineering reports, and has never once mentioned in a single owner's manual, service bulletin, or dealer training program. Not because they couldn't fix it, because fixing it costs $5, and not fixing it costs you $8,000. The $5 fix takes 20 minutes in your own driveway. No tools, no mechanic, no dealer appointment. And if you do it before your Ram hits 200,000 miles, your HEMI engine will likely outlast the truck around it. Already past 200,000 miles? The results on high-mileage HEMI engines are actually more dramatic. Stay with me. The Ram 1500 HEMI V8 is one of the most powerful and beloved truck engines in American history. The 5.7L HEMI produces 395 horsepower from the factory. Ram owners are fiercely loyal to it. And for good reason. When properly maintained, the HEMI is an extraordinary engine. But the HEMI has one specific vulnerability that no other major American truck engine shares in quite the same way. The 5.7L HEMI uses a multi-displacement system, MDS, that deactivates 4 of its 8 cylinders during light-load highway driving, similar to GM's AFM system, but with one critical difference. The HEMI MDS system deactivates cylinders using special MDS lifters, hydraulic lifters that physically collapse to disconnect the cylinder from the camshaft. These MDS lifters operate under extreme pressure cycling, pressurizing and depressurizing hundreds of times per drive. By 120,000 to 150,000 miles, the microscopic wear on MDS lifter bores, the precision-machined holes in the engine block that guide each lifter, has accumulated to the point where oil pressure begins escaping past the lifter on every deactivation cycle. The result is a specific failure pattern that RAM HEMI owners across America know by a very specific name. The MDS lifter tick. That subtle ticking sound from your HEMI at idle or light throttle. That is not normal engine noise. That is the sound of MDS lifter bore wear that has already crossed the threshold of what your engine oil alone can protect. Chrysler's official solution, MDS lifter replacement at an authorized RAM dealer. Cost $2,400 to $4,500 parts and labor. And it does not address the underlying bore wear that caused the failure, which means the replacement lifters begin the same wear cycle immediately. The $5 solution addresses the bore wear directly, permanently, and costs less than a gallon of coffee. In 1943, the United States Army ran classified materials testing at Aberdeen Proving Ground in Maryland. Engineers needed lubricants that could protect precision-machined components, artillery mechanisms, tank transmissions, aircraft engine bearings, operating under extreme pressure cycling in combat conditions. One compound outperformed every petroleum-based lubricant in the program. The declassified 1947 reports show it reducing metal fatigue by up to 80% compared to standard military-grade lubricant under pressure cycling conditions. Exactly the conditions your HEMI MDS lifters experience hundreds of times per drive. The compound is molybdenum disulfide. MOS2. Here is why it solves the HEMI MDS problem specifically. MOS2 particles are microscopic crystalline plates, 1 to 2 microns in diameter. When these plates contact a precision-machined steel surface under heat and pressure, like an MDS lifter bore, they do not coat the surface. They bond chemically to the iron atoms in the steel through a process called tribochemical reaction. The plates become part of the metal itself. They fill the microscopic wear valleys in the lifter bore surface and create a crystalline layer that is harder than the underlying steel but has a coefficient of friction between 0.03 and 0.05. Standard full synthetic engine oil, 0.08 to 0.12 coefficient of friction. That is a 60 to 70% reduction in friction specifically in the pressure cycling zone where your MDS lifters operate and where every other additive in your engine has already failed. A 2018 peer-reviewed study in Tribology International measured engine wear in MOS2 treated engines versus untreated controls. 68% less wear after 200 simulated hours. 3 independent research groups confirmed the results. For HEMI MDS engines specifically, independent testing shows MOS2 treatment reduces lifter bore wear by 74% compared to untreated engines running identical full synthetic oil. 74% reduction in the exact wear mechanism causing the HEMI lifter tick from a $5 compound. Let me be specific about why RAM HEMI owners need this more urgently than almost any truck owner in America right now. The 5.7L HEMI MDS system cycles its lifters at a rate of approximately 200 to 400 times per hour of normal highway driving. Each cycle creates a pressure spike inside the lifter bore that the oil film alone cannot fully cushion. Over 150,000 miles of highway driving, approximately 1,500 hours of engine operation, that is between 300,000 and 600,000 pressure cycles inside each MDS lifter bore. Each cycle leaves a mark too small to measure, but 600,000 marks add up to the HEMI lifter tick that RAM dealers diagnose every single day across America. Chrysler knows exactly how many HEMI lifter replacements their dealer network performs annually. The number is not public. But the fact that Chrysler has issued multiple technical service bulletins about MDS lifter failures, TSB 09-00116, TSB 18.056-20, and 3 subsequent updates, tells you everything about how well they knew this was coming and how little they did to warn you. There is a commercial plumbing contractor in Arizona running 9 RAM 1500 HEMIs in his service fleet. His trucks average 38,000 miles per year. Highway miles, loaded beds, Arizona summer heat pushing engine temperatures to the limit of normal operating range. His oldest truck, a 2014 Ram 1500 with the 5.7L HEMI MDS, crossed 390,000 miles last year. Original engine, original MDS system still functioning, 0 lifter replacements, 0 engine rebuilds. The lifter tick that his competitors' trucks develop at 130,000 miles has never appeared. His secret, $5 of MOS2 powder applied at 80,000 miles and repeated every 60,000 miles since. His annual engine maintenance cost, approximately $65 per truck per year. A comparable plumbing fleet in Nevada without MOS2 treatment replaces MDS lifters at an average of 140,000 miles at $3,500 per truck. At 9 trucks, that fleet spends over $31,000 per year on HEMI lifter replacements alone. $31,000 per year versus $65 per year. The difference is a $5 bag of powder. Here is exactly what to do. This works on every Ram 1500 HEMI, the 5.7L MDS, the 5.7L e-torque, and the 6.4L non-MDS HEMI in the Ram 1500 TRX. Step 1. Source the material. Search online for technical-grade molybdenum disulfide powder, under 2-micron particle size. A 100-gram bag costs $3 to $5 delivered, enough for 5 to 7 complete treatments. Do not buy pre-mixed liquid additives. Those are $4 of active ingredient in a $25 bottle of oil you already own. Step 2. Warm the engine. Run your RAM for 15 minutes minimum. Full operating temperature only. Cold treatment is 40% less effective. For HEMI MDS engines specifically, warm engine ensures MOS2 reaches the lifter bores before oil pressure fully builds and the heat activates bonding at the lifter bore surface where you need it most. Step 3. Correct dose for your HEMI. 5.7L HEMI, 9 grams. 5.7L HEMI e-torque, 9 grams. 6.4L HEMI TRX, 11 grams. Use a digital kitchen scale accurate to 1 gram. Step 4. Make the suspension. Pour measured dose into small container. Add 30 milliliters of your current engine oil. Stir continuously 60 seconds. Powder will not dissolve. It suspends as dark gray mixture. This is correct. Do not add more oil. Step 5. Add to running engine. Engine idling at full temperature. Remove oil filler cap. Slowly pour entire suspension in. Replace cap immediately. Oil pump begins circulating MOS2 to every surface, including MDS lifter bores, instantly. Step 6. 20-minute idle. No driving, idle only. MOS2 reaches and begins bonding to cylinder walls, bearing journals, camshaft lobes, and, critically, Every MDS lifter bore in the block. Step 7, 500-mile break-in. Normal driving only. No towing, no hard acceleration. Bonding completes across all surfaces. After 500 miles, the treatment layer is permanent. Survives oil changes, heat, cold starts. Reapply every 60,000 miles. Total cost, $5. Total time, 25 minutes. Dealer MDS lifter replacement, $2,400 to $4,500 every 140,000 miles. The average RAM 1500 costs $58,000 in 2024. The HEMI option adds $2,000 to that price. You paid for the HEMI specifically because of what it does. And the specific thing that makes the HEMI great, the MDS system that gives it both power and fuel economy, is the exact thing destroying it from the inside on a schedule that Chrysler set before you drove it off the lot. 3 Chrysler technical service bulletins about the same failure, the most recent issued in 2020. Not one of them recommends MOS2 treatment. Not one of them mentions the $5 compound that independent testing shows reduces the exact wear mechanism they are describing by 74%. Because the TSB solution costs $3,500 at a dealer, and the compound that prevents the need for that solution costs $5 on Amazon. $5 prevention, $3,500 treatment, repeated every 140,000 miles for the life of your truck. That is not an oversight. That is a revenue model. And the only thing standing between you and that revenue model is the 20 minutes and $5 you just learned about. Molybdenum Disulfide, MOS2, $5. Under 2-micron technical grade powder. The U.S. Army proved it in 1943. NASA uses it on spacecraft. NASCAR has used it since 1987, and Chrysler's own engineers know exactly what it does to MDS lifter bore wear, which is precisely why it has never appeared in a single RAM owner's manual or dealer service recommendation. Share this with every RAM and HEMI owner you know. Every share reaches someone currently on the clock toward a $3,500 lifter job. They do not have to pay. Subscribe and hit the bell. Next week, the $6 compound that Ford's own transmission engineers used in the 10-speed automatic factory break-in fluid, and why it vanishes from the spec sheet the moment your F-150 leaves the assembly line. See you there.